Well, you're still here.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
We're live. Wow. All right, let me get things ready. Another sip for a very important can of Coke Zero, which I'll talk about later. All right, we all ready to get started. I'm gonna get started. Fanny Pack Wrestling in a 3, 2, 1. Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to another episode of the Fanny Pack Wrestling Podcast. I'm Petey Rave, your man with no plan. Here with me, as always, is my tag team partner, my friend, my co-compatriot, David Jeffrey Majors, a.k.a. DJM. How you doing, Deej?
My name is David Majors, but you can call me DJM. And that right there, that is Petey Rave. He's a Miami Mauler, and you can't teach that. We're talking indie wrestling on Fanny Pack today, and you can't teach that. Well, maybe you can. That's kind of the whole point of this thing that we do here. We introduce indie wrestling to people. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Forget that whole thing. Forget that whole thing. Petey, who do we have on the show today, and what indie wrestling event are we talking about?
All right, we have a couple of good friends, a couple of our favorite guests. We have, from page 1 of the Rolodex of guests here at Fanny Pack Wrestling Podcast, we have my co-host on Hallyujuku, my other partner in crime and rhyme, Brandon Cooper, a.k.a. KingKaz. How you doing, Kaz?
Hello. The wheeling, dealing, kid stealing. Wait.
What?
I just realized in that he says kid stealing.
Motherfucker, I'm taking you back to promo class. I'm taking you back to promo class.
I just realized in
right
all
now.
that time he says
No.
kid stealing.
No,
That's
motherfucker.
weird.
I'm taking you back to promo class now.
That's really weird to realize that he says kid stealing. Hi.
You see, everybody, what I have to deal with consistently on a regular goddamn basis with this guy. Do you see? Just
Wheeling, dealing, kid stealing. No, that's not two things you should say together.
you can only coach him up so much.
It's not like Cocoa Puffs. It's not like two great tastes that go great together.
What you got to understand
I'm in love with the
with
Coca.
Kaz is that I'm trying to coach him up, you guys. I'm trying my best to coach him up. But
All right.
Bacon
Did you get it on the low-low? You got
Bacon soda.
All right. Somebody who decidedly is not in love with the Coco, I assume, just because I think well of him, is our other guest, another one of our favorite guests here, our good friend, Hawkeye Jefferson. How you doing, Hawk?
Oh, I'm great. How is everybody doing this evening? And hi to the Hawkamaniacs, because I got to get my catchphrases out there.
Mm-hmm. You got to get your shit in, like I do.
Got to
every
get
week.
my shit in.
Fucking
Going over.
yes.
I'm
fucking
just a
Lord.
good enough worker to where I can let everybody else get in. I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're talking about a really fantastic promotion. Deej, what is the promotion that we're going to talk about this week?
Well, today we are talking about a promotion based out of the Chicago, Illinois area called Resistance Pro. Now, to the uninitiated, you may or may not have heard of this promotion before. This is the promotion that was started and founded by one Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins. And they have been doing various indie events for the last few years out of the Chicago area. And they even almost had a little bit of a reality show deal on AMC, but that unfortunately fell through. Billy Corgan was still involved at the time of this show, but he did recently leave the promotion. However, Resistance Pro is still going strong, and they're still pretty damn good, in my opinion, and we're going to check them out today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about And Justice for All. This is going to be our first time talking about Resistance Pro.
Also, my favorite Metallica album.
Yes. This is going to be the first time we talk about Resistance Pro since the 3rd episode of the Fanny Pack Wrestling Podcast, where we talked about where we talked about bath turds. back in the day, but this is a fantastic promotion, really interesting promotion that I'm glad to go check in on again. And some interesting stuff. Now, I'll ask you, Kaz, what did you expect coming into this event or promotion?
I expected kind of amateur, old school style storytelling, because that's sometimes what you get with some of these like more what I thought was going to be underground kind of like promotions. So I just kind of expected, the old storytelling. I hate that guy because he stole my last Cocoa Puff bag of cereal. I don't know why I'm on Cocoa Puffs this week.
Man, we're getting a lot of cocoa.
He's in love with the cocoa. Yeah. You get on the
low.
But
no, that's kind of what
I'm not Fit Finley, everybody. I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not Fit Finley.
I expected pretty good wrestling, lackluster story, but fun overall.
Hawk, did you have expectations? How familiar are you with Resistance Pro?
I wasn't super familiar with them before this. I mean, I'd seen a couple matches here and there from them, just like through word of mouth. But so I kind of had the expectation of it being like a Ring of Honor, PWG light sort of deal, and that's kind of what we got. So
yeah, let's get into it. Deej, go ahead and introduce the first match, kind of first quote unquote match. This is an interesting start to the event.
This was a racist as fuck start to the event.
When I saw this, I was not happy. I was not happy at all with just the opening seconds where we saw Russ Jones and Remy Wilkins. Now, Remy Wilkins came to the ring in handcuffs. Why? I don't know. I was about ready to check out at this point, but thankfully the show did get better. But we saw Remy Wilkins, and then we saw him go one-on-one with this mysterious man that apparently nobody knew. They had a match.
Taz's illegitimate son.
Yes, thank you, Hawk. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought this. He was absolutely playing Taz, except, if he were 6'5" or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like at some point he started doing the suplexes. I was like, what? That looks kind of like a Tazplex. And then he puts the Kata Hajime, and I'm like, that's familiar.
Like, okay, this
Did they stretch out Taz? Did they take
this guy's Taz definitely a big fan of Taz. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, there are worse wrestlers to emulate for sure.
Exactly. There's a lot. You could do a lot worse. Yeah, you could be the next Greg Excellent for one thing.
Oh,
you could.
Petey, that's strike one on you. That's strike one on you.
Yeah.
For even bringing his name up.
Yes,
I still have horrific flashbacks where I wake up screaming in a cold sweat from that one time I had to watch a Greg Excellent match. And that's all on you.
Yes.
That was you, Petey. Petey's the one that's picking those shows. I'm the one that's picking out the really awesome ones, guys.
Yes.
Do we need a
I will cop to that. Yes.
Between DJ and one, Petey, none. Aww.
Aww.
No, but this
honestly
one
wasn't
of the matches
too bad overall.
Wasn't a too bad match. It was just an odd beginning.
As a wrestling thing, it wasn't bad. The wrestling was good. The story was like played out. You've seen it 100 times. The con that they let out to wrestle, but it's very, very well spoken and almost comes across as like that whole beginning. I thought I was watching Scared Straight for a minute. He's like, "You're gonna end up like me if you don't straighten up and do your homework."
I thought you were
your teachers.
I actually thought you were gonna bring up a different story of the fact that this started off with the guy that nobody knows his name, nobody knows where he came from, and then all of a sudden he wrecks shit and wins. And
well,
then
no, there's that too. But it leads into like really, really like, okay, yeah, we've seen that before, to open challenge, and you're like, oh my god, hey, I'll fight. No, not you.
Not the small guy. Let's get this gigantic dude that looks like a wrestler in here. Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what they were doing with Rush Jones was basically the exact same way Bill Goldberg debuted. It was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it was like, but he wrestles like that.
But again, to Rush Jones's credit, that's not a bad thing. That's not
It's not a bad thing to
necessarily.
kind of yeah, it's not a bad thing to kind of come off the heels of and kind of bring back. All the elements are there for him to have a really good start. It's just the convict thing and the white warden. It's just kind of silly. It's the kind of stuff they did on WrestleLicious, and that's a
Yeah. Now let's never speak of WrestleLicious again. I'm quitting this fucking podcast.
All right.
I'm not laughing.
All right. So, but that was that match. Really good showing for Russ Jones, and I'm looking forward to checking more out of him. But then we lead into the next match with somebody that we've discussed before in our just a couple episodes ago with our Shine review. Crazy Mary Dobson taking on Lila Lodge. Lila Lodge kind of doing the ladies. Lila
Yes,
Lodge
Kaz.
doing.
They are female.
They're females. Doing the kind of the princess gimmick. I'm like, well, you know what? The princess that I'm a fan of is Princess Kimberly. But no, Lila Lodge and Crazy Mary Dobson.
Petey, there's this thing in professional wrestling. Some things have been done more than once. Okay.
Okay.
Buddy Landell
Okay.
was not the first Nature Boy.
Buddy Landau.
Just gonna throw that out there.
All right,
Rush
so-
Jones is not the first dude to throw suplexes and use the kata hajime as a submission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Fair
in the
enough.
world of pro wrestling, some things get used a couple of times.
Wait,
Okay.
so you're telling me
I
that
will-
Umaga is not the only Samoan savage ever? I've been lied to,
Umaga?
sirs.
Well,
We're gonna need
those
you to
were
sit
his
down for a minute.
those were his family members. They're all in the same savage Samoan family.
Literally. They're all in the same family. Literally, Samoa Joe is the only unrelated Samoan in professional wrestling.
And
He
he's
quite
the only
literally-
one that's never been a savage.
Exactly. Well, there was that one. There was that nation of.
There was
Violence.
that goatee period.
There was
We
that
don't
nation
talk
of
about the
violence.
Nation of Violence. We don't talk about that because he had that terrible penis tattoo. We don't talk about it.
Samoa Joe and his sling blade.
Oh god, no.
The penis tattoo. Let's talk about.
I just-
All right, so back
For
to
those
the-
keeping score at home, a penis was brought up and it wasn't by me.
Yes. It wasn't yours. Crazy Mary Dobson, Lila Lodge. What did you guys think of the ladies showing here in the second match? Cass.
It wasn't bad. Like it was ladies wrestling and it was good. The gimmick was a little silly, but it was a good second match.
Yeah, it did have a
I
good show.
enjoyed Lila Lodge as the princess. She was fun. I found her rather enjoyable as the
Has anyone-
village princess.
Has anyone ever tried to do a Sailor Scout?
Have we
I'm
had
sure
you
we're-
on where we've talked about Leva Bates and I totally fanboy out over Leva Bates?
Has she done a
Pants.
Sailor Scout?
Oh yes, she has.
Okay.
She's done Sailor Mars at a few
Sailor
shows.
Fitting. Now, if
Kaz, just for you,
Lucha
Leva
Sisters-
Bates is an indie wrestler. She's also a cosplayer. She most recently had some really well-reviewed appearances on NXT, where she cosplayed as Kitty Pryde, but she was only referred to as Blue Pants.
Blue pants.
Blue Pants. Hashtag Blue Pants.
Nice. How you doing?
Kaz? No. Brandon. Leva is mine.
All right.
End of discussion.
You know, you
Just
understand?
saying hello.
Just like, hey, you get to keep Minzy, Deej gets to keep Leva.
Yeah.
I will come down there and I will fight you.
All right, so Hawk, what did you think of Crazy Mary Dobson and Layla Lodge?
Well, I would just like to start off by saying I straight crush on Crazy Mary now. I don't know why. Probably because I've got a type, and that type is crazy as fuck. But overall, I thought it was a really good match. A lot of the offense was a lot more hard hitting than what you'd see in your standard ladies match, and both played their parts really well.
Mm-hmm. Crazy Mary
Mary
Dobson was
Dobson
impressive.
is a regular of Shine, is she not? She's a
I
regular.
believe so. Yeah, I think she's from the North, if you will. But let me see. Crazy Mary Dobson.
Is she a Canadian? So she might be in Femme Fatale and some of the others out there, and like WSU.
some of
So
those.
yeah,
Crazy
it's
Mary.
not surprising that she is good, and I enjoyed Lila Lodge. She was entertaining.
Yeah, it was a good showing, a good way to kind of have the first proper match of the night or the second match. It was a good showing, and then it leads into the next match where we had John Schuyler and Jake O'Neill.
Now hold on, Petey. Hold on. Let's not just go match to match to match to match. I think Resistance Pro deserves a little credit here. And after this match, they actually had an interview segment. They actually had an interview segment where it was John Schuyler and Jake O'Neill kind of going face to face, nose to nose. It was, it wasn't the greatest segment in the world, but the fact that it happened, and this is an indie promotion where you usually don't see these things in the context of the show live as it is happening, this was actually something that was pretty refreshing to see, in my opinion. That an indie show that was kind of going live and happening right there, it had an interview segment right in the show. It was very TV friendly, and I got to give them credit for that.
Mm-hmm. Like in the segment, and there was a lot about the production value that it was really cool and had a lot of touches that were really well done.
Billy Corgan's putting some money into this promotion.
Mm-hmm. Like they had the DSLR going with the short field of view, the short focus, which added some really nice stuff.
Some great graphics too.
And
also, Resistance Pro's website is really nice. I really like Resistance Pro's website. It's really good.
Yeah, like it's funny when somebody has expendable money that they can just like throw at a project.
And that's exactly why I don't do every single episode of this show and say, indie companies, you need better graphics, you need better audio, because they don't have money. But when a guy has money, they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, John Schuyler versus Jake O'Neill.
Yes. Hawk, what did you think of this contest?
It was a really, really good match. A lot more technical than I think a lot of the stuff we saw in the show, which is kind of what gets me drawn into matches. But I think that definitely both these guys have just a shit ton of potential and could go really far just based on this one match.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that I was definitely sold on the Southern Savior, John Schuyler. I could definitely see him really going places.
Now I do have to have a contention with him in that saying he's from Texas. Texas ain't technically the South. I know it's South.
Not.
It is not the South. It's in Texas. It's technically Western. They have the western half of country and western.
It's Texas. Texas is Texas. Texas is its own kind of universe in a way. So.
But yeah,
whatever.
Jake O'Neill is fantastic, and they had a really solid match, kind of going back and forth. And it was really well paced and it was really well done. It was a really cool match. Kaz, what did you think of this contest?
It was, I don't know, it kind of is the same as like what I already said. Like, this was really, really exceptional wrestling, right? Like, usually you gotta get one or the other with a lot of the shows you guys have had me watch. Either you're like, oh, that story was a little but the wrestling was good, or their story was really fun but their wrestling went on way too long. Like, the matches that I got to see thanks to Verizon's fucking shit tier internet were really, really good wrestling. So it made me like kind of sad that I didn't get to see the whole show, but from what I got to see, like the gimmicks were very indie wrestling, you know, like kind of really over the top, and like people taking their characters really larger than life in some parts, especially that first one. Jesus Christ, like they're not gonna let an inmate out to wrestle. Like I'm sorry, like it's 2015. Stop it. Just legitimately stop it. But you know, kind of the southern, like the really southern dude that you're kind of, which sometimes can go either way, right? It can be the really southern funny dude, or the like so southern you're like, are you just trying to be like the Dukes of Hazzard right now? Like, is there gonna be like a Lady and Daisy Dukes you're gonna pull out in the General Lee? Talk about NASCAR and shit, and
but enough about Dreamwave Wrestling, guys. Enough about Dreamwave Wrestling, because we don't want to talk about it again.
So, we're talking about.
But no, I had fun with this match. Like, I don't know, it was good for what it was.
It was good, solid wrestling,
and I'm gonna say, sometime in 2015, I would not be surprised to see John Schuyler booked in a few more places. He really caught my attention. Out of everybody on the show that I didn't already know, he was the guy that really caught my attention most of all.
Good. It was good. It's
is he a guy who's been around for a while, or is he new?
Maybe only 2 or 3 years, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. And like it's going to be cool to see him like around and doing shows like in other places, maybe beyond wrestling and kind of other places, maybe going up north.
Also, I just want to say, props to Resistance Pro. This is, in my opinion, I'm looking at Resistance Pro just overall with this whole show and their whole production. They're as good as any indie out there, but they're not in the Northeast, and maybe that's part of the reason why they're not getting a lot of attention. But yeah, I was really impressed overall with Resistance Pro. So I'm hoping they start getting some more attention.
Now let's go into the next match, which somebody that we've had a history with on the show, especially with Kaz. Somebody that we appreciate and we enjoy thoroughly. The man known as Sugar Dunkerton, or at this point,
No.
Shug D? I'm just saying Shug D.
You're just talking about Shug D.
Yes, we are. Now, this was fantastic. We had another interview segment, and it was with Sugar Dunkerton, who is looking to make his way to the main event in Resistance Pro. He wants to be champion. He wants to be the title. He wants to show that he's not just a comedy guy. He's not just a guy that did the I Believe I Can Fly spot in Chikara. And I really liked this promo because I just listened to an interview with Sugar Dunkerton, and he talked about a lot that happened with him in Chikara and how he, spoilers guys, he even had a WWE tryout not that long ago. And I guess with Resistance Pro and a few other promotions, Sugar Dunkerton's really up in his game. And with this promo, I think it really, really showed. And I was really looking forward to this match.
Yeah, he's been hustling for a while, and I've been seeing him work hard and really being committed to putting himself above just being a comedy guy for a while. And I've been following him on Twitter for ages. He's a good guy, and he's a smart guy, and he's been working at this for a while, and it's good to see him kind of get some recognition. And here he takes on a guy by the name of the Cobra, managed by
Petey, managed by Justin King. Now, Hawk, I'm gonna ask you, when you saw Justin King, did he remind you of anyone? Did he trigger any kind of memories in your mind?
I'm sure that he would had I not repressed a whole lot of things in the last few years.
Now, would you let him eat his Yardbird in peace?
What?
Oh, wait, no. I'm talking about Slick.
No. Hawk. Justin King, that particular manager, was the original WWE Black Ref.
That was Black Ref?
Yes.
Oh,
Justin
I'm
King.
so happy to see him back.
Yep.
Oh.
And wasn't he great?
He was really good.
He was great. He was such a good manager for King Cobra. He was
very
so good.
Yeah. It was
And he must have been
fantastic.
paying all kinds of attention when he was in WWE because he killed it as the
Yeah,
heel manager for Cobra. He
he was
killed it.
exceptional.
Yeah, like he worked it so well. Like him and Cobra's an interesting cat. He's doing the Muay Thai warrior stuff, and he's also missing teeth, which is I didn't notice till halfway in the match. It was like people making teeth jokes. I'm like, what's going on?
He was
Why?
also wearing the white contact lenses.
A
The circle
toothless
lenses,
cobra.
which the toothless cobra. He's also wearing the circle lenses, like he was a K-pop idol or something. You know, it's like uh,
And he had a do-rag. So
yes.
in a lot of
he
ways,
was hood twat. He was
their whole
hood Muay Thai.
I loved everything about this. I absolutely loved everything about this. I loved seeing Sugar Dunkerton in a match where he got time to really work. Because spoilers, guys, he's actually really good. King Cobra, I liked him. He impressed me. Justin King killed it as a manager. Killed it. Aces,
And
5 stars all the way.
there's not enough people managing that put that much effort into what they do.
Right,
Yes.
right. And this is just another example of what I'm going to keep saying about Resistance Pro. Man, they just might be the best kept secret on the indies right now. I ended up subscribing to their YouTube channel after this show was over. I was really impressed, and I think this was the match that really sold me. And also seeing Sugar Dunkerton so popular and doing so well in Resistance Pro and Beyond Wrestling and a couple of other promotions in the Midwest, it really makes me happy because that dude, he deserves it. He's great.
He deserves it. He's a good cat. Like it's something we've been noticing since the time we've been on this show. We've seen many sides of Sugar Dunkerton while we've been doing this podcast, and he's definitely one of those impressive guys that has it has given us a lasting impression every event that we've done after we watched it. But yeah, he's fantastic. And then you gotta love. One of my notes that I put in there. I love the surfboard moment. He hits the surfboard. He hits the surfboard onto Cobra, and it sounded like me, and I hope it was that he was saying surfboard, surfboard. And I don't know what kidnapping happened.
Oh yes, there was the moment in the match where DeCobra killed one of Sugar Dunkerton's hope spots, and Justin King grabbed a little kid in a Superman t-shirt and started like he grabbed him by his arms and was flying him around the ring like he was Superman. Seriously, Justin King
I didn't
killed
get to
it.
see all that.
Killed it. He was
Horizon.
so good.
Damn it.
Just flat out spectacular.
He was so good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Gotta love Justin King.
Managing
love
is
King.
not a lost art, ladies and gentlemen. Managing is
Yes.
not a lost art.
But yeah, now we have I think it almost seems like a mandatory for Resistance Pro. It's something we noticed in the event that we talked about, back, when we first talked about them. And it's something like this, where we have the high profile one guest that they can book. And
Billy Corgan's got money.
This time it was Sugar Shane Helms, a.k.a.
The Hurricane.
Coming in to take on the Ego Robert Anthony.
The man behind the original awesome weekly internet wrestler TV show, Fridays
Yes.
with Ego.
Yes. Fridays with Ego, Robert Anthony, Shane Helms. It was an interesting match because it was like Robert Anthony decides that he wants that belt that Shane Helms is.
The Hura belt. The Hura title.
The Hura belt. The vanity belt that he keeps wearing at every show. Like
Just because.
Just because. I have a belt. Yay. Because I guess since he can't have that PWI one anymore, so he'll wear that. He'll wear the Hura belt. which I thought was kind of clever and fun because like Robert Anthony's insulted the belt, but says he wants it, and you know why? Because he doesn't necessarily want it.
It's because
He
he's
just
the
wants
ego.
to take it away.
He's
Because
the
he
ego.
wants to. Yeah, he wants to take it. He doesn't so much want it as much as he wants to take it. He wants to take it and burn it.
You know, here's the thing why I enjoy Robert Anthony so much and why I will never understand why they released him from his developmental contract. He is so Attitude Era, but in the best way possible. Robert Anthony would have been, I'm going to make a comic book comparison. If the Hurricane is your classic superhero good guy, Robert Anthony would have been a great, dark, gritty 90s anti-hero. That's Robert Anthony, the ego. He's kind of a heel in Resistance Pro, except kind of not sometimes. And he's really, really good, too. He's always been really good. He was one of the shining spots of CZW and IWA Mid-South for a while. And, you know, if there's one guy that they're going to bring the guest star in to wrestle with, it's Robert Anthony. They did it with John Morrison on the last Resistance Pro show we covered. And, yeah, this was really good. Everything about it was pretty much top-notch pro wrestling. Hawk, what did you think of the Hurricane versus the Ego?
Well, I'm always really excited when Shane Helms pops up in things because I'm a huge 3-count mark, you guys.
Yes.
But
Evan Courageous, baby.
Yeah.
If you're alive, Evan Courageous, please let us know. We're worried about you. But no, I think like Petey brought up a really good point with the story of this match. Like it kind of reminded me of like something out of ECW circa 98, 99, where it's, you know, they put somebody up against Taz and it's just, oh, I want to take the FTW title away. It's not actually a title, but I want it. And I think that worked really well in this match. And these two matches, they meshed really well in styles. There's a couple really great spots throughout. And I feel like this was an excellent, efficient use of a guest star.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed the kind of the fact when Shane Helms threw out the old school wrestling guy low common denominator penis joke before he hit his catchphrase. You had Robert Anthony screaming like yelling out to plastic camera going, "There's kids in here, Bill! There's kids in here!"
It's family friendly.
Like he cares, but it's just like it was a hilarious. Like it was such a perfect touch. Like, all right, you know what? You're gonna say that joke? It's like
Again,
I'm gonna complain.
a testament to Robert Anthony. That's just a testament.
It's fantastic. Kaz, how'd you like this match?
I would have loved to fucking see it. I would have loved to fucking have tried the fucking fact that like goddamn Verizon was like, no, we downloaded the whole thing, and I'm like, no, you didn't, bitch. And it's like, all right, no, we didn't. I just thought I told you we did. Like, and I'm like, yeah. So.
Well, we're gonna make Kaz feel even worse when we move into the next match, where we saw C-Red in a little interview segment with Acid Jazz and Willie the Bomb Richardson, the Soul.
The Urban American Dream.
Yes. Oh God, yes.
He will never not be the old Urban American Dream to me. Like that, just I know he doesn't use it as much, but that man is Urban American.
He is the Urban American Dream, and once again, hey Chikara, remember these guys too?
Hey. The Soul Touches.
These days, I gotta be honest, I ain't too happy with Chikara nowadays.
Mm-hmm. The Soul Touches, though. The sad thing, I will bring up the thing on Resistance Pro because they're working from a slightly higher profile, at least presumably, because of Billy Corgan. They actually do care about copyrights, so they actually have a lot of in-house music, a lot better than before when we covered them. A little bit better the music this time around, but we didn't get the only time I enjoy the song when these guys dance to it, Soulja Boy dance.
I think they've moved on from that song anyway, just like the rest of the planet.
Yes. I will say it's the only time I've ever enjoyed that song is when it's C-Red, Acid Jazz, Willie Richardson,
And Marche Rocket.
Marche
But
Rocket.
that was right at the time where that song was big. It was King of Trios. The Soul Touches just came out of nowhere, and they took the indie scene just by storm for that little while until Chikara stopped booking them.
Yes.
And now, what's Chikara's loss is Resistance Pro's game, and they took on the current Resistance Pro Tag Team Champions, Body Magic. Petey, Body Magic versus the Soul Touches.
Body Magic versus the Soul Touches.
C-Red, despite his color commentary, it's great to see C-Red, managing. He's great.
Yes. He's fantastic. And Body Magic were hilarious. Body Magic, yes. Body Magic doing their own rap intro, like they were Road Dogg Jesse James or some shit. Like, it was your boy Eric. Was it Eric St. Vaughn on the mic or Brady Pierce? I'm trying to remember which one was which. The mouthpiece, and it's very interesting because they do one of them is the mouthpiece that never wrestles, and the other one is the one that does all the dirty work. But they get along just fine. So it is the New Age
Outlaws.
They pretty much, they pretty much are like, and they get along just fine. Body Magic was hilarious. Hawk, what did you think of Body Magic versus the Soul Touches?
This was actually my first time seeing Body Magic actually wrestle. Like, I'd heard of them before. But seeing them in ring, like, I think they've got a really awesome dynamic where it was basically just Brady Pierce doing the majority of, like, the shit work, and then St. Vaughn would come in and, like, take advantage of the situation. He's like, oh, shit, I'm about to get beat up. Tag out! And I think it worked really well. Like, it's good to see, like, tag teams that actually take the gimmick of being a tag team seriously. And, of course, it's always good to see the Soul Touches in action. And, I mean, I personally, I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling, so this may have been my match of the night just because of how well both teams worked their gimmicks and worked with each other.
Yeah, it was a fantastic dynamic between the four guys, and I always love seeing the Soul Touches. Like, and it's gonna make me have to check out more Resistance Pro. Just if
subscribe to their YouTube channel. They put their 2-hour TV on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, and I'm gonna check that out just to if nothing else to see the Soul Touches, Sugar Dunkerton. I mean,
something to watch on Monday nights, you guys. I'm just saying.
A raw alternative, if you will.
Monday nights anymore.
A raw alternative, if you will. It is fantastic tag team wrestling, and then speaking of the Soul Touches, this leads to the sub main event. We had none other than Marche Rocket challenging Mr. M80 Marche Rocket challenging for the Resistance Pro Heavyweight Championship against the champion Josephus. Accompanied to the ring by even Scotty Young. Josephus with a persona that does not match his name, thank goodness.
He's in no way Mordecai. Not at all. No, remember that gimmick for about 1 week?
Yes. God. Literally 1 week. Literally 1 week. Accompanied by the even Scotty Young, and oddly enough, somewhere around there, Robert Anthony was hanging around. I think just to
and he ended up on commentary because C-Red wasn't there.
Yes.
He was managing.
Yes. He was managing. Marche Rocket versus Josephus. Deej, what context or what impression could you give about this contest?
This match as a whole was really brought down for me because it did not seem like any of it was clicking very well. And there was one particular point in this match that really stood out to me, was that there was supposed to be a false finish, and Josephus got his foot on the ropes, and Marche Rocket was the one that pointed it out. He pointed out that Josephus' foot was on the rope. And Robert Anthony was on commentary and even said, "What are you doing? What are you doing telling him his foot was on the rope?"
Being a good babyface.
Yeah, he's being a good guy.
There's being a good baby face, and then there's being Sting. Okay.
Yeah.
There's just being, you can be a good baby face like Sami Zayn, but then you never go full retard like Sting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And right there, Marche Rocket had a Sting moment, and it wasn't very good.
I would also like definitive proof that Josephus is not Nick Offerman with extra hair. Just throwing it out there.
Also, can wrestlers please stop with the beards already? It's really done. It's done.
They want to be hot.
I'm not getting rid of my beard, but
it's so done.
But yeah,
I know we're all trying to show solidarity for Daniel Bryan. I get that, but
I will say I understand just a beard, but I understand just having a beard, but the overgrown beard. The beard is a bearded beard.
The woodsman, as I like to call it.
Yeah, the woodsman. That beard as a thing is a little overdone. We have Daniel Bryan. We have Matt Cross. I'm going to let him do whatever the heck he wants, but it's okay. We can let those two be that thing. Just trim.
The beard is done, guys.
A 5.
Wrestlers, the beard is done.
5.
It's
your trimmer. Set it to 5. I'll let you have 5. Maybe
3 ain't enough. I'll give you 5.
Exactly. And just bring it down. Just bring it down.
It's time, guys. It's time.
But yeah, it's not Vader time, but it is time. But yeah, the main event.
In the end, we have a new champion. Mr. M80, Marche Rocket, is the new Resistance Pro champion.
Mm-hmm. Hawk, what was your impression of this main event contest?
I would actually agree with it just not really clicking overall. I just don't think these guys had a whole lot of chemistry in the ring together. I really did enjoy the work, though, of Rocket as far as, actually being a good, solid babyface that the crowd can rally behind. Because I think far too often guys try to go for that shades of gray sort of stuff. And he did a really good job of getting everybody, on his side. And I enjoyed the Soul Touches doing their run-in. That was awesome.
Yes. Oh, yeah, when even Scott Young cold-cocked C-Red.
Yeah.
And it said, all right, get my boys, you coming out here, you taking care of business. All right. It's like, my boys are out here, you're going to take care of business. So it's like, I did enjoy that moment. They did not, and the main event was really cool, but I definitely understand what you guys are talking about, that it just didn't quite click between the two guys. But overall, it got the title into somebody that deserves it, Marche Rocket M80.
And the match got the response it needed.
Oh yeah, the fans were going nuts for the finish. So. Yeah,
and that's makes it all worth it. I think I'm so glad that I'm going to make the commitment of getting back into seeing the Soul Touches on a regular basis, who I absolutely enjoy every time I see them. Seeing them here in Resistance. Yes.
Excuse me. Sorry.
What was that?
What was it? What?
Let's move into the main event of the evening.
The proper main event. We had the ladies main event.
Also, props to Resistance Pro. Steel cage match for the women's championship as your main event of the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Oh, that would have been fun to watch. Thanks, Verizon.
Thanks, Verizon.
We're just burying the shit out of Verizon on this show. AT&T's
they deserve it.
all gift cards.
Yeah. Hashtag Verizon sucks. But we had.
I never thought I'd be on a podcast where I'd almost have to say Comcast is clearly the best internet provider. I never thought that day would come.
Yeah. No. At least until Google gets fiber over to where I'm at. God damn it, Google! Give me fiber. I need to have fast movement. I need to be able to move freely over the internet. I need fiber.
I need a gig-a-second download speeds. Get on it, fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Google, I'm pretty much good. Comcast is giving me 100 meg. I know you're probably going to try and jump in on the whole rebirth of Detroit gentrification thing eventually. So, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Let's work on that. But yeah, main event of the evening, Resistance Pro Women's Championship. We had Darcy Dixon challenge for the title against the one and only Mickey Knuckles. Mickey Knuckles is a fascinating personality and persona.
I love Mickey Knuckles. I've loved her since the glory days of the mid-2000s of the indie scene when she was the queen of the death match. Well, she still is. She was one of about 2 or 3 shining spots in IWA Mid-South. Where she was again one of the rare shining spots in Juggalo Championship Wrestling and in various other places. Why she's never been a regular for Shimmer and other places, I don't know. But Mickey Knuckles is fantastic. And Darcy Dixon, who I'd never seen before the show, I kind of instantly totally like her. Her interview before the match was great. And she has that kind of hyperactive, frenetic personality that I really enjoy, and just I was ready for this. I was all in. I enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah, and then eventually, I mean, they kind of had a little bit of a back and forth before they officially did, but eventually they got into the steel cage, and they went toe to toe, mano a mano,
womano.
No, it's still hand to hand. It's still hand to hand. Mano a mano. Hawk, what did you think of the main event of the evening?
Unfortunately, I missed the finish thanks to my piece of shit internet that we have out here. But overall, I mean, this may have been one of the absolute stiffest matches I've seen in the last few years, with these two just absolutely going at it. And I really, really enjoyed what I saw. And I would actually echo DJN's sentiment about I like Darcy Dixon now after having just seen like 10 minutes of the work there.
Yeah. And
Mickey
it's
Knuckles
amazing.
is a legend, in my opinion.
Yeah, Mickey Knuckles is fantastic. And we've talked about her before. I think she was on an AIW, I want to say, event that we covered, and she was fantastic there, and I believe she was wrestling Tim Donst in an all-out, ridiculously hardcore match, and that was fantastic. And then Darcy Dixon. It's amazing how somebody can impress that well in just you check out 10 minutes and I'm gone from 0 to.
It was exactly the same for me with John Schuyler. Exactly the same with Darcy Dixon. Just one show, I'm sold.
Boom, and and that's amazing what somebody can do that. It's really cool, and it's really cool that this promotion Resistance Pro was able to showcase them well enough for to facilitate them to kind of really impress really well, and that's what's really cool about this show was so many cool names balanced between you have your one big guest. And then you have your guys that around the indies, the peoples, your peeps.
But it wasn't loaded with major indie names.
Exactly, it wasn't. It had some really cool names, and then it had their in-house guys that they would want to showcase. It was a nice balance. It was well spread out. It didn't overload it on too many, and it didn't overload it too much in one of those categories. Is what I'm going to say. I don't know. Does that make sense, Steve?
Yeah. I totally got you. I think Resistance Pro really had a really great show with this one. I think this was really, really good top to bottom.
Yes.
I think the entire show as a whole was really worth checking out.
Yes.
They've got production value, It was an excited crowd. They did it in front of a crowd that cared. The entire show, top to bottom, was really well booked from start to finish. Every match on the card was in the right place. Every storyline, every interview segment, it all worked really well. One thing, because I'm a smart mark and I'm going to nitpick, and this is only one thing. One thing. Resistance Pro, C-Red, I love you, man. I love you. I love you. You're a great manager. You're a great personality. You're a great talker. You're not a good color commentator.
Not at all.
We're going to have to find somebody else for color commentary in Resistance Pro. C-Red, I love you, man. I love you.
I'm looking for a job.
They're in Chicago. They are in Chicago.
I'd have to move, I guess. Chicago's pretty cool.
If you can find somebody else to do color commentary, and I'm already saying it, I subscribed after this show. I subscribed to Resistance Pro's YouTube channel. I'm in. I'm on board. I will watch. I'm totally in. Just that one thing. Just do that one thing for me. If you can get somebody else on color commentary, I will go ahead and say that right now Resistance Pro is as enjoyable as any of the other indies out there. If Chicago wants some representation on the big stage of indie wrestling with the Chikaras, with the PWGs, with, well, ROH isn't really an indie anymore, but you get what I mean. I think Resistance Pro is definitely on that level. And kudos to them. Also, Sugar Dunkerton. You do your thing, man. You do your thing. Spoilers, guys. Spoilers. At a future show, Sugar Dunkerton, in fact, does win the title.
He wins the big one, and it's fantastic. It's just really cool seeing them win that belt. Another thing, I would say, another really cool small thing, this was done at a school, so what we had in the crowd, and I mentioned, Robert Anthony mentioned that there was kids in the crowds. There were a lot of kids really enthusiastic about this wrestling event, and it was kind of cool to see all these. And
it wasn't just for like one or two guys. They were enthusiastic for the entire show from top to bottom, and that was fantastic.
I think it's one of those things where it's that kind of old saying where we're, at the end of the day, wrestling is for kids, you know? It's the over-the-top, kind of cartoony, fun, violent thing, specifically marketed at little boys, but can sell to little girls, too.
Or gender positive.
You know, and when done right, no matter what, like, that's who it's going to entertain the most. And it just so happens that there are big kids who have jobs and money and and can fund things and do all that kind of other stuff. You know,
Kaz, you remind me. I'm going to bring up something that a guy by the name of Brian Danielson mentioned at an indie show here in Michigan when he was on his first release from WWE. And he was at a Chikara show, and he said that just because a wrestling show is family friendly does not mean it can't be good. And this showed that as well. Right. Just because it's a family friendly show and you can bring your kids, one, it doesn't make you feel embarrassed to watch and make you feel like your intelligence is being insulted. And two, you can actually really, really enjoy it. So kudos to Resistance Pro on that one too.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's true across multiple mediums. We have the Pixars of the world, we have the regular shows and Adventure Times and Amazing World of Gumballs of the world. We have various wrestling promotions that are family friendly, but it's still fantastic. Like it's something that's true across the board. Like just because kids can enjoy it, doesn't mean that it has to suck. And that's kind of a beautiful adage and a beautiful way to look at it. But yeah, that was Resistance Pro. And I got to ask, Kaz, what was your takeaway of what you got to see of Resistance Pro? Just real quick.
I'll just reiterate what I said and keep it short. Like, fun, cheesy storylines that you kind of expect from amateur wrestling, but goddamn, if the wrestling itself did not take them to like that next step.
I really
like,
do
I
hope you get to
understand.
catch this whole show. Like, I would specifically recommend the Sugar Dunkerton promo and the match.
Mhm.
I think you'd really enjoy that one, and the main event.
If Verizon
But
allows
it
you.
also. Oh no, don't worry. Our match is coming up. Fucking motherfuckers tried to stall me out last time. You can't do that this time, bitch. I'm coming for you. Fucking Hulk Hogan. I'm coming for you. But no, I it's one of those things I can very much understand why DJM. I guess that's his new hip hop album.
Jesus.
That's a different Jeffrey.
Get that on iTunes.
That's a wrong spelling of Jeffrey.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm calling Sean Russell. I'm getting a new host for Two Nerdy Black Guys. I'm calling Sean Russell. You're suspended.
What? Let's see him bring in the people I do. He ain't me. No, but I can see why DJM.
Bringing in the people that you do, Kaz. We already know how I feel about them.
All right.
But
as you were saying,
I can see why DJM went to their YouTube channel and kind of instantly followed them. You know, they're fun. They know what they're doing, and they're putting money in the right places, and they're pushing Sugar Dunkerton.
Yes. Hawk.
Sugar D.
What was your impression of the show overall?
Overall, I thought it was a pretty fun show. It was a little bit basic on the storyline front, which is not really a problem because wrestling, when it tries to get too overly complicated, tends to ruin the fun of it. And I thought they did a really good job of finding a balance between storyline and actual match quality. And I mean, they're definitely a company I would be willing to check out in the future, especially after this show. And as DJM's been saying throughout the whole show, they definitely looked a lot better than your average indie.
Yeah. As a scene that's common with what I get from High Spots, you can get it at highspots.com. It is in 720p, which is 720p. Nice. Usually, yeah, and the visual quality is pretty fantastic. Just having that at ringside, they have the actual DSLR at ringside. And they play around with the focus, and it makes for some great visuals, which is fantastic. All I'm waiting for is ring corner GoPros. That's gonna be the next step in indie wrestling. Have GoPros at the.
Have you been watching the Young Bucks on Twitter and Vine?
Yes.
Oh my God.
They Vine themselves killing Hiroshi Tanahashi.
And of course Tanahashi kicked out because he's Jesus Christ.
Yes.
He's our Lord and Savior.
And as you pointed out, you pointed out the best part about that video, right?
Yeah, Matt Jackson. He when they were doing the video of them attacking Tanahashi, he did it in vertical style. He did it in vertical video, just proving how much of a heel the Young Bucks really are. They're still heels, you guys. They're still heels because they use vertical video.
Exactly. That's just fantastic. But yeah, overall, Resistance Pro really impressing. I think they impressed pretty well the first time we talked about it, but I think they definitely impressed in this show. They've improved on what was already pretty good to start with, and I think overall we walked away really enjoying this show. Those of us that got to see the whole thing.
I give Resistance Pro a full recommendation.
Mm-hmm. Good. Go on, check it out.
Also, naming their show after my favorite Metallica album too. Just 2 thumbs up all the way.
Also, hey, I picked this one.
Yeah, Petey. All right. Yeah.
All right, we got that imaginary chalkboard. 12 DJM, 1 Petey. All right.
Yes. 1 for me.
This is that moment where the old veteran sees the young kid really have that one breakthrough moment. And I'm just, yes. Coming along.
All right. So, that was our thought. Those were our thoughts on Resistance Pro. We highly recommend go check him out. Resistance Pro is on YouTube. What is their YouTube page? Remind me again. Is it Resistance?
Just Resistance Pro. Resistance Pro.
Mm-hmm. Check them out on YouTube. You can watch a bunch of stuff there. Content, fantastic content. I got this at highspots.com. You can check out this, PWG, and a few other promotions you can download for video on highspots.com. You can also get like DVDs and other stuff. You can also get really old DVDs from like other promotions and like odd like shoot interviews and stuff like that. They have a lot of stuff over there. It's really cool. But yeah, check it out. Check out Resistance Pro. Resistance Pro on the internet and all that. So first
Take it
off,
home, Petey.
let's take it home. Hawk, what do you got going on?
Well, of course, I've got the Ruthless Aggression podcast, which you can just Google that phrase and find us on iTunes, Stitcher, the website that I run, freakingawesomenetwork.com. You can also follow the show at Ruthless Podcast on Twitter. You can follow me at Hawkeye Jefferson on Twitter. And if you really, really like me, you can go to Redbubble and buy yourself a Hawkamania t-shirt, or a I'm a Hawk Jefferson guy t-shirt, or I'm a Hawk Jefferson girl. Just whatever you want. We've got tons of shit, and it's all circled around me. So
You haven't
support.
you haven't done a Hawkeye Club shirt, have you?
Not yet, no.
Don't do that. Don't.
I've been talking to AJ Styles on Facebook because he and I are friends now. I'm trying to set up doing an interview with him. And
Please don't do that. I'm begging you.
Well, no, actually one of the lead interview questions I want to go with when I send him the pre-interview stuff is what do I have to do to join Bullet Club? Because that's really my goal in life. It's just to get the t-shirt.
Join, of course.
And I'm with anybody these days.
I'm going to say I'm with Player Uno and saying let's all not be with doing the Bullet Club parody shirts. Let's wait 10 years.
Can we not? Can we not?
We can wait 10 years and do it without being dumb like we did with
Finn Balor is allowed to do it in NXT. Finn Balor is allowed to do it because he founded the group, but otherwise, no.
No.
Nah.
Just wear a Bullet Club shirt when you're out and about, and that's it.
I saw a Bullet Club shirt at OhioCon a couple of weeks ago. We two-sweeted and everything. It was great.
Nice. Yes.
Did they earn that shirt?
I don't know, but we two-sweeted, and that was good enough for me.
Yeah, that was good enough for me. But yes. I already talked to Hawk. Kaz.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Y'all need to talk to him. Y'all need to talk to him.
Kaz, what?
Nope, don't.
New episodes of Shooting the Shit with Two Nerdy Black Guys, or just Two Nerdy Black Guys, as it is now called in the world. New episodes of Hallyujuku out there for everybody to watch and love and pay attention to.
This week we're going to squeeze about 4 minutes. It's just if you want to check out Hallyujuku this week, we're just going to talk about how much we love 4 minute. That's just going to be the thing.
Shut up, the bad bitch. Yes.
Yeah. Deej, what do you got going on at Delta Juliet?
And I can say that because she said that.
DeltaJulietMike.com, home of Two Nerdy Black Guys, with myself and Mr. Brandon Cooper, who's much more tolerable on that show, despite this. I love him to pieces, really, I do. Of course, Anime3000.com, where I host the A3K podcast weekly every Saturday night. Nananashi Anime Podcast with my friend Lily Inverse. I also co-produce a show called The Other Side. If you really want to get yourself angry at the internet, listen to The Other Side. It's a fun little listen. And at Just Call Me DJM on Twitter. I might be coming up with something else. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm at Petey Rave. Petey is in William, Rave is in Jimmy, all in one word. Subscribe to the YouTube page. I'm actually gonna subscribe to the YouTube page, Rebelli TV on YouTube. I've got myself a GoPro, and an audio recorder, and I've got some like monopods and some
You don't have a
tripods.
selfie stick, do you?
It's a
Well, now that
telescoping
you asked.
monopod. It is a telescoping monopod.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Petey has a selfie stick.
But it's
Oh,
a
God.
monopod.
It's a
It
selfie
says
stick.
monopod. No, if it says selfie stick, you're an asshole. If it says monopod, you're a semi-amateur fucking photographer.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to use it to take pictures and videos of other things, not just me.
All right.
But yeah, but that's it. Check out the. I'm gonna try to put content on the YouTube page, so check that out. FannyPackWrestling.com, Fanny Pack WP on the tweeters. That's it. That's it. Check out iTunes, Stitcher, follow the things, subscribe to the things. Until next time, this is my last soda for a while. Hasta los huevos.
This is not my last one.
Drink.
Interesting.
All right. Hawk.
What's up, buddy?
So, as I previously mentioned,